Man, that was a little bit of a mess now, wasn't it? A little bit of a timeline of events of what happened yesterday. We got an update saying these are the updates, the changes, the 1.0.10 patch has been updated, changed, here are the new things. And in the comments of that post, there were a bunch of people saying, well, wait a minute, this is broken, that is broken. And then, actually, while I started streaming with the new update, and then I was told in my comments that the post had been taken down. The entire thread had been taken down. The change had been reverted for some very serious reasons. A couple of the bugs, and I'm sure there was more, is that you could not call a parliament. I could call the absolutist parliament because I tested it on my Portugal run, which is, mid 1600s or so. But any other parliament, like the one you get at the start of the game, you just couldn't call it. You also couldn't encourage migration as well. I'm sure there are more bugs, I'm sure there are more issues, but they took down the post, and as in, they deleted the thread. The thread that I've currently got open right now, they deleted the thread, or made it hidden. And I don't know, that stayed that way for some time. And I don't know, that seems a little bit silly. When the thread came back up, I wrote a comment, and I'll see if I can find that comment. Because then we'll be able to see, there we go. This is when the thread came back up at, from my time at least, 10 is when I noticed, but it had been so long since the thread had been deleted at 8:30 for me, that it had come off the first page, and nobody had seen, actually, that it had been, reinstated. Which I find really silly and strange, and I'm glad that they brought it back, for sure. And then there was this comment by Rayagi after a little while. Hello, folks. For the sake of transparency, we've reverted the delete on this post, which was temporarily deleted in an effort to avoid confusion. I feel like I may have contributed to a little bit of the confusion as well, considering I made a video, obviously, sharing the patch notes, what had changed, all that kind of good stuff. And then while I was streaming, when it went down, I made, the follow-up video that was like a minute long saying, oh yeah, by the way, they reverted it. If people are getting their news from YouTube, then maybe they would only have seen my video saying, the game's been updated. They go to Steam and it's not. They go to the forums, there's nothing there. I feel like I did contribute a little bit to some confusion, so I apologize for that. But yeah, they reinstated the thread. The previously posted patch notes have been reverted from the beta. We apologize for prior deletion of the post and the chaos it caused. And yeah, as Johan said in the post, things have changed a little bit. They'll be more careful with the hotfixes and deletes next time. Today, that has, the posters went back up, not the post, sorry. The update has been reinstated. 1.0.10 is now updated to the functional version. Here are the change notes. Nothing has changed from the previous one, so I'm not going to go through them again, obviously. But this one seems to be working. I have tested it, I have played, and I have called a parliament and encouraged migration, and everything seems to be good and well and sorted now. So, fair enough on that. Again, I will say, this is an opt-in beta. You need to opt in to play with this version of the game, with all of the risks that entails. If this had happened on the main version of the game, then yeah, raise all of the stink. Sure. As it happened on the beta, I mean, I do find various things to be very questionable, like deleting the thread for, 2 hours or whatever it was. That shouldn't happen. That's really quite some kind of thread needed to go up as soon as that thread was hidden, saying, look, we messed up, this is what happened, we're working on it right now, we'll fix it, we'll get it back to you. But going down for 2 hours, and then coming back up without any kind of fanfare, without any kind of, yeah, no, this is what happened, like, it's It's exactly the problem that we were talking about yesterday, and that being the, poor communication. But anyway, this update is live now, and today, of course, as well, we have gotten a thread from Yuan. Basically, what happened with last night's update? They had a list of features that had been cherry-picked to the 1010 branch, and it was verified that the changes worked as intended. Then they ran a smoke test on it, and nothing was found there. What happened though? Well, they have the system for how a location is persisted through script, which they also use when loading save games where any event or script refers to a location. And 110 had removed a few lake locations that caused problems, so they'd written a function to adapt this, which worked fine for loading the save game with references to deleted locations. What did not work was the fact that it did not support using a scripted action like Call Parliament from the UI, as there was no save game repair table to check for. The likelihood of QA or anyone to think this bug fix of loading saves will break some UI flows was close to zero. So I get the message that the patch was not working from Rosarnus while being far away from the PC, so I tell him to pull the patch and delete the thread, meanwhile, until he can get on a PC after he's dealt with dinner and other parenting things. Why delete the thread? Well, editing and writing posts on a phone sucks beyond belief. I can actually, that Paradox forums on a phone is pretty crappy, yeah. It's easier to delete it and post something a few hours later. Anyway, smoke test now includes more actions to check. Sure. It's good that there is a bit more. Again, it all comes down to communication, and while I totally understand, right, using the Paradox forums on your phone, it's something I do when I go to bed sometimes, and it's not great. But at the end of the day, this was kind of necessary. And sure, if you can't do it because you are, away from your PC, making dinner, all that kind of good stuff, I understand. I am a parent myself. You tell a subordinate to do it. Yeah, you tell, Rosarnus to make a post, you tell Ryagi to make a post, you tell somebody to make a post saying, look, there was a problem with the patch, we have taken it down, we are working on it, we will fix it, it will come back. And it's kind of obligatory in my eyes. It seems very strange that was not happening. But anyway, this video is simply to say 1010 was re-updated. I've played it. I have seen that there is no glaring issues. The same issues that I have with the game persist, and obviously that's not going to be fixed in the patch. And communication is still something that they are going to iterate on, and hopefully in the future more iterations will happen, because I don't think this one was all there. I get the reasoning, I get why it happened, but there were things that could have been done to more effectively communicate what was happening, instead of a complete deleting of the thread and the patch being reverted. And I find that if you can do that, if you can revert the patch, if you can tell Steam, nah, actually roll back that thing that we just did, roll back that, then if you have the capability of doing that, you have the capability of informing your community of what you've done. Yeah. That's it. That's the video. It's just a short one to say, you know what? Communicate more communicatably, please, in the future. Thanks. Bye.